Welcome, friends. Just give me 15 minutes of your time, and I promise, this could be one of the most eye-opening lessons you'll ever hear. Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 powerful Japanese philosophies that have the potential to put you far ahead of 95% of people. And no, this isn't going to be some boring theory class. I'll share real stories, solid logic, and practical ways you can use these ideas in your daily life. In this video, you're not just going to learn how to take control of your life again. You'll also improve your English naturally, as I explain each principle in simple words and real-life stories. So whether you're stuck in self-doubt, struggling with perfectionism, or just want to live better and speak better English, watch this video till the very end. Because the last principle? It might just be the one that changes everything. Now, you might wonder, why are we talking about Japanese philosophies? Out of all the countries in the world, why look towards Japan? Here's why. Japan is a country that faces over 1,500 earthquakes every single year. It's the same country that got hit with not one, but 2 nuclear bombs. Over the years, Japan has seen it all: massive natural disasters, devastating wars, and financial crashes. And yet, look at where they are today, standing proud as one of the top 5 economies on Earth. And it's not just about money. Japan also has some of the healthiest and longest living people in the world. Their sense of discipline is unmatched. Their technology? Light years ahead. So what's their secret? Did they start out with magical resources? Super smart people? Perfect systems from day one? Not really. These things came much later. What truly lifted Japan out of the ashes was their mindset. A mindset so strong, it could rebuild what was destroyed. A mindset that didn't just survive the storm, but grew through it. Because here's the truth: buildings fall, systems fail, but if the mind is strong, everything else can be rebuilt. So where did this powerful mindset come from? The answer lies in Japan's ancient philosophies. Unlike many of us, they didn't let go of the wisdom passed down through generations. These were not just words on paper. In the past, these philosophies were used to turn ordinary men into warriors. Yes, actual warriors. A simple man would learn these teachings and be trained to take a life, or lay down his own, if duty called. The 7 principles I'm about to share with you today, they're not just life tips. They're a way of living. A step-by-step transformation, from comfort to courage, from confusion to purpose, and from fear to freedom. And the best part? You don't need to move to Japan or become a monk to apply these. Just understand a little, and put a few of them into action, and you'll already be way ahead of the crowd. To make this journey more exciting, I'll also be sharing some powerful stories along the way. So let's dive in, starting with the very first Japanese philosophy. The foundation of them all. This principle is called Shugyo. It literally means ritual suffering. You may have seen those hardcore monks who go through intense physical challenges. Some pull heavy carts tied to their necks. Others punch solid trees thousands of times until their fists feel like iron. And some train their bodies to bend like paper. They're more flexible than most yoga instructors on Instagram. And then there are monks who do something even more extreme. They sit under freezing waterfalls in the dead of winter. The icy water crashes down on their heads. Their bodies shake and tremble. It feels like every drop of water is stabbing their skin. But they don't move, not even a little. Now you might be thinking, Why would someone do this to themselves? Here's the answer. This is not torture. This is Shugyo, a kind of training where you go through discomfort on purpose, not to punish yourself, but to grow from within. It breaks you, yes, but only so it can rebuild you, even stronger than before. Today, most people avoid discomfort at any cost. Feeling a bit hot? Turn on the AC. A little bored? Scroll Instagram. Hungry? Tap your screen and food appears at your door. We've made life so easy, we've forgotten how to be strong. Shugyo is the opposite of that. It teaches you to lean into discomfort, not run away from it. Take a small example. Ever tried waking up at 5 a.m. to study English vocabulary or grammar when your whole body is begging for more sleep? That moment right there. That's your version of Shugyo. When you choose growth over comfort, you're training your mind just like a monk trains under that icy waterfall. And that's why Shugyo is the first principle. Because if you're not willing to suffer a little, you'll never grow a lot. While most people are busy chasing comfort, Japanese wisdom has always taught something very different. Comfort is the enemy of growth. That's why they shaped their lives like a dojo, a space not for relaxing, but for practicing. For improving, they treated pain as a warm-up, not a punishment. And instead of avoiding obstacles, they saw every obstacle as a step forward. One of Japan's ancient texts, Hagakure, says, "The way of the samurai is found in death." But this doesn't mean death in a physical sense. It means letting go of the lazy, comfort-seeking version of yourself. That side of you needs to be buried. And the sharpest weapon to do that? Discipline. Let's talk about Miyamoto Musashi, one of the greatest swordsmen in history. This man won over 60 duels, yet he wasn't just a warrior. He also practiced calligraphy. Why? Because creating the perfect brushstroke takes the same level of discipline as delivering the perfect strike with a sword. It's repetitive, it's slow, it's not flashy, but that's what makes a true warrior. And that's exactly why you must welcome Shugyo into your life. Start walking toward discomfort, don't run away from it. Feeling chilly? Take a cold shower anyway. Too hot? Try sitting without a fan. Can't sit still without scrolling? Challenge yourself to sit silently for 20 minutes. No phone, no distractions, just your thoughts. And if all of that sounds too hard, then start small. Start with exercise. Only 23% of people exercise regularly. That means the moment you build just this one habit, you're already doing what 77% of people don't. Going to the gym? That's your modern-day Shugyo. You break your muscles down, and then they rebuild stronger. But remember, don't just do it for the sake of suffering. Because suffering without a goal is just pain. True Shugyo always has a purpose behind it. And that purpose comes from the second principle, Ikigai. Your reason for being, your reason to wake up every morning. If Shugyo is the fire, then Ikigai is your direction. It tells the fire where to go. Ikigai is what gives you energy, not just coffee energy, but real, soul-level motivation. It's what turns your routine into something meaningful. It's what makes even struggle feel satisfying. Let me give you a real example. There's a Japanese doctor, Shigeaki Hinohara, one of the longest-serving doctors in the world. He treated patients, wrote best-selling books, gave talks around the globe, and even after crossing 100 years of age, he never stopped working. People would ask, "Why are you still working at this age?" And with a smile, he'd reply, "Because I still have something to give to the world." That was his ikigai, his purpose, his fuel. And interestingly, science backs this up. In places where people live with purpose, especially in Japan, life expectancy goes up. When people have a reason to live, they live longer. So don't just chase random goals. Find your reason. Find something so meaningful to you that it pulls you out of bed even on your worst days. But here's the truth. 92% of people make goals and give up. They set them, they forget them, they get distracted. And in today's noisy world, where everyone is pulling you in 100 directions, your purpose, your ikigai, can start to feel heavy, even painful. That's why we need something else. Something that helps us stay focused without losing ourselves. That's where the third principle comes in. Kodawari, the path of focused excellence. You see, ikigai gives you the why, but Kodawari teaches you how. It's a beautiful idea rooted in Japanese culture. No matter what you do, big or small, do it with full heart, full presence, and full effort. Even if you're making tea, even if you're folding laundry, even if you're learning English. Treat it like art. And that mindset? That's Kodawari. Have you ever seen those YouTube clips where Japanese people even remove their slippers in a neat and organized way? I once watched a video where people from different countries were sticking tiny colored dots on a board. Most people just slapped them on randomly, like decorating a birthday card. But the Japanese? They carefully placed each dot in a perfect, straight line. That, right there, is Kodawari in action. A deep commitment to excellence, even in the tiniest things. One of the most powerful examples of this is a man named Jiro Ono, the legendary sushi master of Japan. Jiro is over 90 years old, and every single day, he makes sushi. That's it, nothing flashy, nothing new. Just sushi, done with absolute perfection. He handles the rice like it's treasure, keeps it at the perfect temperature, cuts the fish like a surgeon, places everything on the plate with care, as if each dish is a work of art. And the most amazing part? He does this even when no one is watching. This kind of excellence earned him not 1, not 2, but 3 Michelin stars. Even former US President Barack Obama once tasted Jiro's sushi and said it was one of the best meals of his life. Yes, even sushi can become a symbol of Kodawari, when it's done with heart, focus, and relentless passion. Now, how can you use Kodawari in your own life? Well, here's something interesting. Only 14% of people are using tools like AI to improve their skills or sharpen their work. If you want to get ahead of the other 86%, start paying attention to the small details in whatever you do. Whether you're writing, cooking, learning English, or building something new, do it with care. Give it your full attention. Give it your heart. Because even if the task is small, the way you do it can make you extraordinary. But wait, here's something important to remember. Sometimes, you'll give your best. You'll pour your time, energy, and effort into something. And still, things won't go your way. You won't get the reward. You won't get the recognition. Or something unexpected might ruin everything. And this is where most people feel crushed. Why? Because they try to control things they simply can't control. That's why the next Japanese principle is so important. Shikata ga nai. It means, it cannot be helped. Let me tell you a true story. In 2011, a powerful tsunami struck Japan and destroyed an entire town. Homes vanished, families were separated, shops, schools, streets, wiped out in seconds. But when the news cameras arrived, what they captured was not chaos. No shouting, no violence, no blame game. Instead, people were quietly cleaning up the ruins. They started putting whatever was left back in order. And as they worked, one phrase kept echoing in the air, Shikata ga nai. Now, this doesn't mean giving up. It means, this happened. I can't change it, so I will focus on what I can do next. This is not weakness, it's emotional strength. Think about it. You lose your job. A relationship ends. You're stuck in traffic while already late. What do most of us do? We get angry, we complain, we make it worse, for ourselves and for others. But Shikata ga nai teaches you to do the opposite. It says, save your energy. Don't waste it on things beyond your control. Instead, use that energy to move forward. And once you start doing this, you'll feel lighter. Your mind will stop carrying stress it doesn't need. And you'll automatically rise above most people, just because you know when to let go. So how can you apply this in your life? Stop watching negative news all day. Don't waste time fighting things that are out of your hands. Accept what you can't change, and focus on what you can. But here's what happens next. Once you start practicing acceptance, you begin to see things more clearly. You'll notice some cracks, some flaws, some imperfections, in your life, in people, even in yourself. And when that happens, what should you do? That's when you need the next Japanese philosophy. A principle that helps you see beauty, not in perfection, but in the broken parts. It's called wabi-sabi. Have you ever heard of a beautiful Japanese tradition called Kintsugi? It's something truly special. In most places, when a bowl breaks, people either throw it away or fix it quickly with glue, trying to hide the cracks. But in Japan, they do something very different. They repair the bowl using gold or silver. Yes, you heard that right, they highlight the cracks instead of hiding them. Why? Because they believe the broken parts are not something to be ashamed of. In fact, those cracks tell a story. They show that something has survived, and that makes it even more precious. That's the heart of the next Japanese philosophy, wabi-sabi. You don't have to look perfect all the time. In fact, it's your little flaws and scars that make you real, that make you human. When you really think about it, this is such a freeing idea. But what do most of us do? We try to hide every mistake. We want every video we make to look perfect. We delay starting a new skill, a new business, or even a new habit, because we're waiting for the perfect moment. But here's the truth. Perfection is a trap. Trying to do everything flawlessly often leads to doing nothing at all. Yes, chase excellence. But don't let the fear of imperfection stop you from taking the first step. That's the real balance wabi-sabi teaches us. The day you understand this, you'll feel lighter, happier, freer. In fact, Research shows that 80 to 90% of beginners quit just because they feel they're not ready enough. They never take action because they're afraid to look imperfect. But what if they let go of that fear? What if they started, no matter how messy the beginning was, and just tried to get a little better each day? That's the next Japanese principle, Kaizen. It means daily, continuous improvement. Start something and make small upgrades over time. You don't need to make huge changes. Even tiny steps forward, taken consistently, lead to massive growth. Let me tell you a real story. Back in the 1950s, a worker on the Toyota assembly line noticed something small. Fixing the car door was taking 4 extra seconds. Now 4 seconds might seem like nothing, right? But he took it seriously. He studied it. He found a better way. He shared the idea, and the design got improved. When that small fix was repeated across millions of cars, those 4 seconds added up to thousands of hours saved and millions of dollars earned. That's the power of Kaizen. Focusing on the small things, again and again, until the results become huge. So how can you use Kaizen in your own life? Start with just one habit. One of the easiest? Reading. Do you know that over 70% of people never read a book after finishing college? They stop feeding their mind. They stop growing. But if you read even a few pages daily, just 1% growth every day. It's like putting compound interest into your brain. Over time, those small ideas will build a powerful new version of you. Now, so far, I've shared 6 powerful principles from Japanese philosophy. But there's one more. And it might just be the most important of them all. Because without this last one, you may never be able to follow the others. This 7th and final principle is called Danshari. It means letting go of the unnecessary to make space for what truly matters. There's a Japanese author named Hideko Yamashita who helped make this idea popular. One day, she met a woman who felt completely lost, emotionally stuck, mentally exhausted. And guess what? That woman had over 3,000 books stuffed inside her small Tokyo apartment. 3,000 books, in one tiny space. So Hideko gently asked her, "When you walk into your home, do you feel powerful? Or do you feel powerless?" The moment that woman heard the question, she broke down in tears. Through shaky words and teary eyes, she said, "I feel powerless, like I'm drowning in these books. They're everywhere. I can't breathe." And what did Hideko tell her? She simply said, "Start clearing them out. And keep only the ones that truly touched your soul." So that's what the woman did. Bit by bit, she started removing the clutter, the mental and emotional weight hiding inside those shelves. And as the books disappeared, something else returned: peace. She left her toxic job. She picked up her forgotten love for painting. And soon, she smiled and said, "That day, I didn't just clean my room. I cleaned my mind. And I found myself again." That is Danshari. The courage to let go of what no longer serves you, so you can finally uncover who you really are. There's a book titled Goodbye, Things by Fumio Sasaki, and in it, he writes, "The less you have, the more clarity you gain in life." And now, my friend, you've heard all 7 of the powerful Japanese philosophies. But before you feel overwhelmed, let me tell you something very important. You don't need to apply all 7 at once. In fact, in every video, I remind you, don't overload your life with too many habits. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Clear your mind. Focus on one thing. Out of these 7 ideas I shared today, pick just one principle. Any one that speaks to your heart. Then apply it for the next 7 days. That's it. And you'll see something magical happen. You've just learned 7 powerful Japanese philosophies. Each one is simple, but life-changing. And no, you don't need to apply all of them at once. Just pick one habit. Practice it for the next 7 days. And you'll already be ahead of 95% of people who just watch, but never act. Now I want to hear from you. Which principle spoke to you the most? Type it in the comments right now and tell me. What's one small thing you'll start doing today? And remember, this isn't just about motivation. This is about real growth in your life and in your English. Because the best way to improve your English is to improve yourself while using it. So let's grow together, one habit, one sentence, one day at a time.